Valve is probably the most beloved gaming company when it comes to scale and love size. People love Gabe to the moon and beyond. I'm pretty sure if you ask 90% of the Valve fans if they could suck one person's dick, it would be Gabe. If this man did not exist, the entirety of gaming would just be in a worse state objectively. So obviously when they announced a new set of consoles or hardware in general, people went ballistic over that shit. And one of them had probably the most talk around, which is the Steam Machine, which from everything we know is a pretty beefy baby. That shit is supposed to be 6 times stronger than the Steam Deck, and it's supposed to be able to run games at 4K 60 FPS. So people were up their goal when they heard this, because most people expect this to be Valve's attempt to go into the console market and, you know, kind of be a competitor compared to Xbox and PlayStation. More Xbox than PlayStation. I don't think it will hurt PlayStation, but, you know, Xbox, who is in a state that can only be described as super fucking rough and nearly dead. Xbox is like a bleeding deer. It is limping behind the pack. Clearly, the sales are down when it comes to consoles. The users are down. Everybody is mad, especially with the Game Pass price increase and Black Ops 7 just in general. People are very mad at the company, and Xbox players are looking for other options besides this, especially with the rumored price of the next Xbox version costing up to 1,200 clams. You gotta put down a mortgage to play video games at this point. And combine that with the fact that Gabe has since Windows 8 stated that he dislikes Windows, it does make sense that he would want to give Xbox the final strike, considering it belongs to Microsoft, who is also Windows. And there is a lot to be said about the Steam Machine and a lot to praise about it. Overall, it does look like a pretty good product, but it comes down to one thing on how the product is gonna be received by like everybody, and that is the price. And unfortunately, it does look like the price is not gonna be what most people expected, because I, for one, expected or predicted more that the price, based on the specs that we have seen, would be around $500, or for everybody who is allergic to Freedom units, it would be 500 euros, which is myself. I'm allergic to Freedom units, which is a very good price, and it would be competitive to the prices that we currently have in the console market, because it isn't as good as the PlayStation 5 or the best Xbox Series X, I'm pretty sure, but it is better, for example, than the Xbox Series S, which is the cheapest Xbox of this generation. So it does actually compete with those. Combine that with the fact that you would have access to the entire Steam library, it would definitely get a lot of console players to this, especially with the state of Xbox. And from everything I could gather, that seemed to be the most popular opinion online, that this is a console competitor. Unfortunately, Valve has a different opinion, which, yeah, unfortunate. I gotta really say, this is really unfortunate, because they view it as a PC, or more a PC hybrid, which first off doesn't make a whole lot of sense, because my definition of a console is plug and play. Like, you plug it in and you can immediately play, not like with a PC where you have to set up stuff. Like, for example, you have to set up an operating system, then you have to download launchers, and then you have to download the game, you have to buy the game or whatever. The Steam Machine, you plug in, log in with your Steam account, and that's it. That's my definition of a console. Unfortunately, Valve does not see it that way. They think this is more of a PC. And they also said to Linus Tech Tips that they will adjust their price according to a competitive PC price, or adjusted to a low budget PC, which would mean it wouldn't be in the $500 range, but more in like the $800 to $900 range. And I do have to mention, this machine does have an appeal for at least some people that have a PC, because most people, I speak from experience here, have a PC that hasn't been updated in a long while, that may be outmatched by the Steam Machine. Until a year ago, I was using a 1080 Ti that could potentially run a lot of games, but unfortunately had a very annoying defect that led to legitimately every game crashing. That's not a joke. Every single game that I tried to even touch, if I thought about playing a video game, my GPU would come to life and fucking Mike Tyson sucker punch me in the gut. But I just never updated it until like 8 months ago, and I was using that for years. I never thought about updating it, because I was just like, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna use this. And it is important to consider that the Steam Machine does have a little bit above average specs when it comes to the average Steam user. So there is definitely like 60% of users on Steam that would use this machine and have a better performance overall. But at that point, if you're already looking to update your PC, it would probably be cheaper to just buy individual parts to put in your PC than to just buy the Steam machine for $800 and then be stuck with it, because it doesn't seem like it's actually updatable or customizable, at least when it comes to hardware. This point could also just be blown completely out of my mind. Somebody could come into my comment section and say, hey, half the fucking Steam community are a bunch of lobotomites. They don't know how to update a PC. I worked with a PC the first time a year ago when I updated my PC. It's not totally easy. Not every homunculus can take a screwdriver and go like, PC now upgraded. But I think overall, it is still cheaper to buy updates to your PC and then even pay somebody to put the updates into your PC safely. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to target the PC players. It would make way more sense to target console players, especially because the console market right now at least has one really weak part. Not Nintendo and not PlayStation. I don't think we gotta talk about the boogeyman anymore. We all know what's going on with Xbox. We all see the numbers. We all know what's going on. We all have been online. These people are struggling, at least when it comes to hardware. And I know this entire video is basically drama that is based on an entirely hypothetical scenario. I'm basically pre-ordering drama at this point. I'm pre-firing things here that don't make a whole lot of sense. I could be totally wrong. That shit could be $400 and we would all suck our asses and buy that shit immediately day one. That could also happen. There is a likelihood that that happens. Like Rick and Morty says in one of the episodes, wabba-labba-dub-dub or whatever. Anyway, I do want to give my final thoughts on the product because there is still a lot to like about the product. I personally believe that will be from $500 to $700. I don't think Steam is stupid enough to go like into the thousands. That is a ridiculous claim. I think people who say that do not understand anything and might be Twitter users. And the target audience or the people who will buy this is very widespread in my mind. There's people who want to get back into gaming but don't have time to build their own rig. Console players who are looking to get into a wide variety of games because Steam does have a large amount of indie games that are not available on console. Fans of the operating system, that's overlooked by a lot of people. The Steam machine does have a custom operating system that is very well optimized for gaming. For example, the ROG Xbox Ally has the base operating system of a different version of Windows, right? And people loaded the Steam OS onto it and found out that it runs games 32% better. So it is software-wise also an incentive for people to buy this. Overall, I think it really just comes down to the price of the product. We'll see. Maybe this entire drama is entirely useless, most likely even. I just want to yap about it because I have a lot of thoughts in my brain that constantly run, and if I don't talk about them, my brain might spontaneously combust and I will make an illustrious black hole and everybody dies, right?